If you've been intermittent fasting for whatever reason and you're finding that it's just not working like it used to, the information I'm going to share with you today might make a whole lot of things make sense. I've seen this kind of rise of the intermittent fasting over the last few years while I've been in clinical practice, and I think there's a whole lot of benefits to it. In fact, we utilize aspects and components of intermittent fasting in our program as well, but there are some negatives which really need to be understood so that it can be as a tool utilized well and truly get the effect for the input that you are having. So what I want to do first is I want to let you know that I'm going to link below our blueprint document. This is a full free 27-page run through of what we do with clients in the program, and the first point in that is fuel, don't starve, and that's going to be a key aspect of what we're going to talk about today. But it's going to help you understand how there may be other ways to look at achieving weight loss or improved energy or improved sleep or improved cardiovascular health or whatever it is you're looking to achieve with the fasting tool. So let's dive in. I'm going to go through two of kind of like the pitfalls when it comes to intermittent fasting that I commonly see, and in fact a ton of our clients come in having come off the back of some sort of fasting protocol. And these are, the first one is, the issue is that fasting addresses an overfed issue. So we have an obesity epidemic in the world today, which suggests that people are overfed. But if we look under the hood of that a little bit more, it's not just overfed, it's also undernourished. What this means is people are getting a lot of caloric energy, they're not getting a lot of nutritional value from their food. Fasting solves one issue here. Fasting is essentially taking away a meal or several meals in a day or eating less in a day, so it takes away the overfed aspect. What it does not correct is the undernourished aspect. So when someone comes to fasting, maybe because they want to lose weight or they want to improve their energy, often it works for a while because we're correcting this overfed. We're forcing the body to be more efficient with its fuel. We're maybe triggering some fat burning. You're feeling a bit better because your digestive system's not working all the time. It's maybe dealing with some snacking or some late night eating that can impact your insulin levels and all of those things. So we get this positive response, feel better, maybe get some weight reduction. And eventually we kind of hit a point where it doesn't feel the same anymore, doesn't feel quite as good as it used to. And in fact, I often see people who have lost weight start gaining weight again, which is another topic. But the issue here is that it's not addressing the fact that when you take away a food opportunity, you're taking away a nutrition opportunity. So if we're just reducing the total amount of food, but we're not improving the quality of food, we're going to stay in the same, if not worse, nutrient depleted state. And there are a lot of nutrients that tie into total energy levels, sleep, and our ability to maintain good insulin control and all that. And these are things like total protein. Is your total protein need being met? Magnesium intake, your B vitamins, your iron, zinc, selenium, these sorts of things can end up getting a little bit low and a bit depleted, and fasting doesn't fix that. It makes it worse. The other part is that it is the assumption that eating less is going to fix everything. Yes, there is an obesity epidemic, as I said, so it suggests overconsumption. But is it overconsumption or is it poor quality, poor food choices? Very often what we see is that weight improves, energy improves, health improves, not when we eat less, but when we eat better. This is a big part of what we focus on in the Body Reset program, is looking at not just arbitrarily reducing the amount of food you're eating, but actually let's look at the quality of it and really improve that. Because, these highly processed, highly energy dense foods that make up a large part of our diet, they don't fill us up very well, and so we can easily overeat them. So there's this overconsumption issue, but again, we're not really being fueled that well. If we look at food quality, we look at getting an adequate protein, we look at getting an adequate fiber, we can actually have these bigger, satiating meals spaced throughout the day, so you don't have to be fasting, you don't have to be going hungry, you don't have to be going without food, and you can still see a reduction in weight and improvement in energy overall. And we get this feedback all the time from our clients when they come into the program. We get them into our 3 to 4 meal a day cycle, and they're like, man, I'm eating more than I used to, and I'm losing weight, and I'm feeling better. Because it's not always just about eating less food total, it's about eating better food in general. So if fasting was working really well for you and it's not, maybe your energy's dipped, maybe your sleep quality has changed, maybe you've stopped losing weight, there's more layers to look at rather than just fasting longer, fasting harder and reducing food further, because you might actually be creating the very issue that you were trying to avoid doing the fasting in the first place. So here's a couple of recommendations for you. The first one is, instead of or before you get into any type of fasting, is build a solid foundation of fed first. Fasting actually works best as a tool if you come to it really nutrient replete and well fueled. So what I always say to people is, let's build that proper foundation first, which is what ultimately we're wanting to achieve. How do we fuel the body really, really well? So we're looking at good protein amount, good fiber intake, good vegetable intake, counting calories, not calories, getting that quality of food into your day and removing some of the processed stuff that potentially is filling up those spaces. The second part is focusing on meal structure and spread across your day. What typically people are doing is skipping breakfast, maybe having a rushed lunch, snacking through the afternoon, having a really large dinner and then snacking into the evening. That is a pretty typical food spread for busy people in Australia and New Zealand, and it doesn't meet our energy needs particularly well. It prioritises getting a lot of caloric intake at the end of the day and missing that early window when you can be fueling well to curb your cravings later in the day. So getting a decent foundation of meals spread across your day, generally 3 to 4 meals across your day based on protein, packed with vegetables, getting that fibre, and just build that foundation of fed first is key to fueling your body well and allowing those kind of metabolism and that sleep and energy and all that and whatnot to come up and improve. And then the next part is when we kind of just start to dabble into some of the fasting techniques, and that is ensuring a 12-hour overnight fast. Every single person should be having a period of time through the night, 10 to 12 hours at an absolute minimum, where they are not consuming food. Our body is wired to eat in the daylight hours when we're awake. That's when our enzyme levels and our stomach acidity and our digestive processes and all that are working their best. As we get into those nighttime hours, our body and our circadian rhythm is priming us and getting us ready for sleep, and that is not when we digest best. Also, it detracts from the quality of sleep that we could be having, which is a huge part of what drives our hunger and appetite the next day. So having a 12-hour overnight fast allows you to get that benefit of having time when your digestive system doesn't have food in it, your insulin levels are coming down, and your body's having that time to rest and repair and really focus on getting the benefits of what we get from fasting without actually changing anything, right? You still get to eat breakfast, you still get to eat your dinner, but you're getting this nice chunk of time. And a lot of people just aren't getting that. We're eating too late into the night, snacking into the evening, or we're maybe, starting the day really, really early and then having late dinners or whatever. We're not getting a nice long chunk of time where we just aren't having food in our digestive system. Once you've got that foundation of, protein and nutrients, we're looking for fueled, not just filled. We're looking for that spread across the day of that foundation of fed first, and then we're looking to get that 12-hour overnight fast where you're not putting things in, but you're actually allowing your body that time to rest, repair, recover, and get that benefit of fasting as well. From there, you might start to add in some smaller amounts of fasting. And, I always say to people that just because it's good doesn't mean more of it's better. And actually, all you may need as far as fasting is concerned is a couple of days of an extended morning or nighttime fast. You don't need to be doing, full days where you only have one meal or any of those sorts of things. You can dabble in them, see how you feel, pay attention to your energy and all of that, but the benefit of it is possibly not as great as what we think it might be. So, as I said, I'm going to link our blueprint document below this video for you to check out. Have a look at it, go through it, because it's going to open up your eyes to a whole lot of other ways we can approach what we're trying to achieve with the fasting discussion. It's not that fasting is bad, it's not that it is a problem, it's that it's not well understood in the sense of how people use it, and it's usually overdone at the expense of nutrition, at the expense of energy, and at the expense of sleep. And it's why 9 times out of 10 when I'm talking to people that come into the program, they've been fasting and it's backfired on them. So hopefully this video helps. Hopefully you can avoid that backfiring, and I'll see you next time. Bye.